Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Farm Report, the Yankees Farm Report. As you can see today, you're not going to be seeing Dayne. You're actually not going to be seeing him for a while. He's got some personal issues that he's going to take care of. So you guys are going to be stuck with me, most likely Nick, for the next couple weeks. But we'll keep you up to date on that. Um, in this episode, I mentioned last week that we wanted to talk about IFAs and things of that nature, but I also did want to talk a little bit about Bob Nightingale's recent report about scouts talking about the lack of Dominicans in the top 100 on the pipeline top 100. Nick, I know you saw that because I texted you about that. What did you think about it?
Deals, man. And why I don't understand why we singled out Dominican players. I mean, you still had Venezuelan and Cuban players on that list as well, which would put that list about 20%. And there are arguably another 10 to 15 players that could obviously be on that list. And I mean, I'm looking at a kid, for example, that was on the Mets or is on the Mets right now. That they had on a Yankees pipeline that's hitting under 200 for the year and in the 90 spot. So I mean that they're just a bunch of kids that don't deserve to be on there for what have you done for me lately? And I would say that there are a couple of international kids that just don't get that recognition because they consider DSL as a joke league.
Yeah, man, I've always felt that there's a bias towards the IFA kids, but on this list, like I think I've said the same thing that you did. That if you're looking at the IFAs, there's more than just Dominicans in the IFA. You have Cubans, you have Mexicans, you have Venezolanos as well. And like you said, if you tally all of those up in the DSL, you'd have about a 20% of the list would be them. And another thing that I said was I wouldn't question so much as or be concerned so much as why there's a lack of Dominicans on the list. My question is, what exactly are these evaluators looking for? And that's what more I would focus on because, for example, Augustine Ramirez never made the top 100. And while you can argue that maybe there was 50, maybe there was even 60 better players than him, you can't argue with me that there was 100 better players than him.
I agree. I think the other kid as well that just went there too, the big first baseman from Arizona. I think you could argue too. I mean, he's hitting. Well, I think he leads the minor leagues in 32 or 34 home runs right now.
Oh, Davidson, you
Um,
talking about?
yeah, I believe that's the name.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's leading the league in the minor. Yeah, De Los Santos,
Hmm.
Davey San Leo Santos. Yeah, yeah, he's leading the minor leagues right now in home runs. And I mean, at the end of the day, how can you not have a kid that's 21 years old putting up those kind of numbers? Not at AAA, mind you, not in the top 100.
Yeah, see, like my thing is more about what the evaluators are looking for, and I've always been a guy that favors more production and success more than what someone's potential ceiling could be. And this is a common occurrence. I think I saw it on the last episode of the Yankees Farm Report where you got into it with Bobby, in regards to like Marcelo Mayer, right? Last year Marcelo Mayer struggled, and Jason Dominguez was on a tear, and for some reason Marcelo was ranked above him, even though Jason was what, 2 years younger.
Yep.
Yeah. So I wouldn't pay too much mind to it. I mean, as someone who's been looking at these lists for a few years now, it's to me it's just a matter of being recognized by them. But I wouldn't put too much stock in them. Yes, you would love to have guys on that list, but sometimes it doesn't. The rankings don't even make any sense at all.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%, man. It just, they overstate them. And I think that there is a bias towards draft over international. And I think we all recognize that.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you were saying in the other episode too, like if you're a first round pick, you automatically get the benefit of the doubt that you're a top 100 prospect, especially if you're a first round pick.
Yeah, it's not always the case. Even the number one kid is usually not always the case that they're on the top 100 list of the international kids.
Mhm. Okay. Moving on to the next topic that I wanted to touch on was in regards to the DSL and the current class. Is there anyone in this current class that stands out to you? Anyone that you might could see as a guy who's a fast riser who maybe moves through the FCL quickly next season?
Yeah, I don't know, man, in this specific class, if like you have anybody that's gonna like breeze through it like that. But I think the catching department has done really good, man. I'm
Mm,
gonna give like Kenny Pineda,
yeah.
Carlos Villarreal. If I botched the name, I'm sorry. But like,
Uh,
those two kids, man. I think that you have. I like what Dexter Peralta is starting to bring later on. I know he's
mm,
had a little bit of struggles lately, but I mean,
mm,
like, I feel like that overall value of his talent is going to be pretty elite going forward. Um, I think Villario got injured. I know that he got injured. I don't think
Hmm.
he definitely did get injured. And he's another
Hmm.
kid that I feel like would have had a decent year had that injury not zapped him in the beginning of the year. So he's another kid that I think the Yankees are still going to be high on and going to give an opportunity and move him up as well. But I don't know if anybody like moves super quick out of this class.
Yeah, for me in this class, I like what Kenny Pineda has done. Justin Capellain has also shown flashes early on. I know he was hitting third, I think even fourth. Carlos Villarroel, like you said, he was one. Jesus Marquez was also a guy that showed some flashes early on. On the pitching front, though, two guys that stand out to me are Alexander Almonte and Enixon Sanchez. Both of them have been standouts for me this year. Pitched really well. Enixon is 16, and I believe Almonte is 17.
Alexander Almonte's looked unreal. I mean, he's in my opinion, he's the highest ranked pitching prospect that's in the DSL right now. In terms of who they have value. They signed him pretty early on January 15th as well. Sanchez is more thrower than anything right now, like more
Hmm.
pitch wise. I mean, he's not going to throw like 95, 96. I think
Yeah,
he's at
no.
like
I mean,
high
he's still
80s,
16. Yeah, he's still
Yeah.
16. He's about 89, 90, I think, the last time I saw him, but he's still very young. He's still got a long ways to go. But I mean, the fact that he's 16 is impressive. Almost remind me a little bit of Omar Gonzalez.
Yeah. I mean, but Gonzalez was throwing out to 93, 90,
Yeah,
94 sometimes. So a
but
little
no,
different. But yeah,
but Gonzalez was also a bigger body.
yeah, that is true. He's six what, 6'3", 6'4". So
But and he was solid kid, solid kid.
but yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think you hit the two pitching prospects right in the head, man. Almonte, you got to give him his credit. He's been unreal.
All right. And then moving on to the next cycle, which is one thing that we wanted to talk about. Um, for the next three cycles, basically the 2025 class through the 2027 class. We could touch a little bit about that. We got some questions in regards to that. One of the biggest questions that we got, I know you don't like comps, so I'm not going to go there for you. But who do you feel is going to be the top IFA in the next three class of each of the next three classes, or
So
could
the
be?
All right, so I'll do 26 and 27, just bang them out one, two, three, because those are the
Hmm.
easy ones. So obviously, Wandy Asijan is the top 26 kid. There's no questions asked there. And 27 is definitely Myron De La Rosa. Both shortstops, both heavy talents. One's a switch hitter, one's just lefty. Wandy's at the U15 again right now. Tore it up a little bit the other day. I think his team won like 36-1 or something
Yeah,
crazy. It
they
was
beat
unreal.
Guam 30-1.
Yeah, something
Mashed
crazy.
them,
Yeah.
yeah.
And Myron is a superstar shortstop talent. I mean, he's a switch hitter and he's got basically everything you want in tools. Um, outside of them, I think 25 is where it starts getting interesting. I personally believe it's going to be Ruben Castillo, but I think if you look at the class, you're going to see different rankings. So, for example, I know we've talked about this as well. You're going to see Steven Marmines, or that's his real name, or Steven Romans, who we know him by. That's going to go number one on Baseball America for the Yankees, just because how Baseball America does rankings is based on who gets the highest bonus. And that
Mhm.
doesn't always qualify for who's the best player in the class
Right.
or who's the better player. It just means you signed a player earlier, so you had to give them more money when they were at a younger age. Um, I'm gonna go Ruben Castillo because I just think the talent there is just unreal, and he's an elite center field, and he can play shortstop as well. But he's an elite center field talent
Mhm.
compared. And I think, like I said, Steven Romans is another really great kid as well, man. But I would say those would probably be your top two kids. But I would go, in my opinion, would be Ruben Castillo.
Yeah, for Castillo, I've seen his swing. He has a beautiful left-handed swing. And if anybody hasn't seen him, Ruben Castillo is a lefty center fielder who also turns around and can play shortstop. And I believe he also pitches as well, which is crazy. So he's ambidextrous. But the swing is beautiful. I've seen it on his Instagram. A beautiful swing. I can't wait to see him.
Yeah, but when he pitches and he plays shortstop, he's righty.
Correct.
Yeah. So
In regards to Romans, I've seen Romans as well. I've posted video on him. Um, who else? Who else? And on Manny Cedeno as well. Romans looks very good to me. Left-handed, he's a left-handed hitting shortstop, right? From what I recall.
yeah, he's a left-hander.
Yeah, and Manny Cedeno makes a lot of loud contact. I really like what I've seen from both of them, both of the videos that they both sent me. Um, Again, but to me, I'm most excited in seeing Ruben Castillo because we have so many infielders, especially middle infielders, you don't always know where they're going to play at, especially since probably Dexter Peralta would probably repeat the DSL, I'm going to assume, probably even Christopher Reyes. So there's going to be a lot of moving around. And, I haven't seen a top outfield prospect outside of Velorio. So I'm interested to see Ruben Castillo. Again, I love the swing, beautiful swing on him.
I agree. And he came on later, so I could foresee him really jumping out right away because he's been in competitions for a while. So it's not like he was held back like a Roderick or, somebody that was signed so early where, they haven't played organized ball. And plus Jacone's a big academy too. And yet they or top 10 or a nib where he participates at. So he gets a lot of running with the best of the best players there.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing for Wandy. He's also playing in a tournament. He's back into a tournament once again, which is I don't think Roderick played in any tournaments. I'm not 100% sure, but I didn't hear of him playing in any of these tournaments, which is good for his development.
Yeah, it's only 2 weeks that tournament, the U15, but I mean it is, you're right. It's 2 weeks
It's
more than Roderick
correct.
got.
It's organized baseball, right? And you're playing against other kids. You're seeing different levels of talent. So, it bodes well for him because a lot of the times when the Yankees sign a lot of their top IFA prospects, they don't have that exposure because they've been stashed for years.
Yep.
Another question that I've gotten is any chance the Yankees sign a Japanese pitcher? I mean, we've been over this.
Yeah, I think we touched on quite a bit. Roki Sasaki, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think, as I said before, man, I felt like it was a package deal from what I was told with
Hmm.
Yamamoto. So I believe he ends up as a Dodger. My understanding is if he doesn't end up as a Dodger, the only other team he's considering going to would be the Padres. And he wants to stay on the West Coast. So the Yankees kind of it's a long shot. I'm not gonna say it's not there, but it's a long shot.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing that we spoke of back in the December episode that we did for IFAs. Another question that I've gotten is regarding these IFA kids because any of them skip the DSL and go straight to the FCL. I mean, I've never seen that for as long as I've been watching the rookie leagues. I've never seen someone skip besides maybe Jason.
Yeah, outside of Jason Dominguez. I'm gonna say out of these kids, I don't believe so. It's not a knock on any of them. I just don't believe that any of those guys they're gonna skip them a level. And the Yankees aren't really like aggressive in skipping players
Hmm.
like that. So of the next three classes, I'm gonna say we do not have um any kids there.
Yeah, again, the only guy that I've seen that I can recall is Jason Dominguez that skipped the DSL altogether. The Yankees are typically slow to promote, so I would not be expecting them to have any of these guys skip these levels or skip the DSL level.
I got a few more if you want me to run off some questions I got here too.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
All right, so I got a question that said, who is my sleeper for the 2025 class? And I like this question. I felt like it was a very informative question for fans. I'm gonna go with a guy named Eliezer Adames. He's a center field prospect that the Yankees are linked to. Um, the bat to ball skills are unreal. So if you ask me who I think is going to lead in batting average next year, I wouldn't be shocked if it was
Mhm,
him or Emil Martinez. But he's a kid that he was a shortstop for, and if you look at the younger list back in like 4 years ago that they put out for this upcoming class, he was always top 10. He was a top 10 kid in the class. I hated his arm at shortstop. It's the ugliest thing I've ever seen. I'm not trying to be mean to him, but I told him, I say, oh man, like thank God that, and he's like, nah, I'm happy they moved me. Like, but the arm
Second
plays
base?
in center.
Oh,
No,
center.
it's center. Yeah, he's a center fielder now. But he speed is there. He has all the tools, man. It's just the arm was just so ugly at shortstop, and they eventually moved him off. And I think that he's a kid to get excited about.
Mm, okay. He's in the next class? Which class is he
He's
in?
in he's in 2025. Yeah,
All
he's in
right.
the next class signing up. Another question I got uh that I felt like was pretty good was and I like I said, I don't really like doing compare, but I think it was a fair question is, if you were to lose a kid, which one would hurt the most to lose? Um, and this one I'm gonna give a double S. I'm still thinking the next couple of years, man,
Mhm.
it's still gonna be Wandy and Myron. I think at the end of the day, having Wandy and Myron, man, together, losing either one of them would suck so much because they're literally number one and either number one or two in their class. I still got Senna above Myron. It's not a knock on Myron, but
Mm.
Senna, in my opinion, is the number one or two Dominican kid out there right now. Depending on what you think of Gonzalez for the Giants this upcoming year, from what I've been told. But that would be where I leave it. Um,
Yeah, I saw Senna play in the U15 and he looked amazing, man. And I think
he's
was it the
still
Braves
killing
that
it.
came in? The Braves came in
Yeah,
with like a $6 million offer.
yeah, 5 point. He's either at 5 point. I think he's 5.8 million. It's either 5.6 or 5.8, and he was linked to the Mets. The Mets lost him. Stupid thing over a scout thing, and lost him for less money because they could have went up to 4.6 and had him, and they lost him. And the Braves just jumped to 5.6 or 5.8, and he's a Brave. That's it. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, he looked amazing in that tournament. I think he was hitting right in front of Wandy, by the way, in the tournament.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if he's almost a can't miss.
Mm. Mm. Any other questions you got?
For me, I mean, other ones I'm trying to think of. I mean, a lot of other them were comparable. I try to stay away from the
The comps?
questions about not comps, but like money. Like I don't want to talk
Oh
about
yeah.
money for personal reasons, but like another one that I think I got was or I could do sleepers for 26, 27 too. I know that they asked me like who's the top three kids in each class of 25, 26, 27. So I'll do that and then I'll touch up a sleeper in 26 and 27. But the top three kids in 25 are, I know we've touched this up before, but I'm gonna go Ruben, Stiven, Manny, and that those are your top three kids. Whatever order you want to put them in, or people want to put
Hmm.
them in, have more power. But I'm gonna go Ruben. My personal will be Ruben, Manny, Stiven, just because I like Manny's bat, but I can see
Hmm.
it being Stiven as well. In the
Folks,
middle.
hold on. Let me put a pin right there. Is there a pitcher? Because I know they had DeFrank and they lost him. He was a big time arm. Is there
He would have
anybody
been
else?
top three. Nah, he
Um,
was the best pitcher on the market. But I mean, there's Jose Vargas. We have a Venezuelan pitcher named Jose Vargas, or he might be Colombian. I'm not positive. I have to go look at my notes. But but yeah, he's a decent arm that I think is hitting like 92, 93 right now.
mhm.
But you're talking Kevin DeFrank, who was sitting 95, 96 and topping out at 98. He's the number one kid in the market. We lost him to the Marlins. He would have been easily top three for me.
Mhm.
Um, that was a tough loss. That was a tough one, just because we don't really get many great pitchers like that at an international. Like I feel like, we go for like those bottom signings and then we
Right.
try to grow them. But he was
Mhm.
like ace potential right off the jump.
So how much did what was his? Oh well, never mind. But we'll skip past that.
2026. My class for 26 is Wandy,
Hmm.
Yesin Orton, and Jose Colina. Those are my top three kids in that class. So two shortstops and a catcher. Jose Colina's probably got the most beautifulest left-handed swing I've ever seen in my life. Like outside of like Ken Griffey, Robinson Cano, Barry Bonds. I mean, like that it's like on par with that. It's just an unreal, beautiful left-handed swing.
That's
He
a
used to
lefty
play.
catcher, right?
Yeah, he's a left-handed catcher. Yeah, he used to play shortstop, and they moved him over to catcher. And I've heard it's been a seamless transition. He can really pick it behind the
Hmm.
plate. He looks really good, and the bat just plays. Yes, Norton, we've talked about him before.
Hmm.
Shortstop, elite defensively,
Hmm.
left-handed batter. Probably like a poor man's Wandy. Not as good as Wandy, but a poor man's Wandy, and he can do it and really stick it. I think he's the best defensive shortstop in that class. Um, Up there with Beltre. We have a kid named Beltre in that class too. That I don't know how to say his first name. Jeremy Hanyo. I don't know how to say it, but
I think I've seen him.
yeah, but he can really pick it at shortstop too. So both
Hmm.
of them are really really good. But I think Yes Norton is the best defensive player in that class, and then obviously Wandy Season speaks for himself. Man, we've talked so
Hmm.
much about him.
Yeah.
And 27, my top three right now, and I know of four kids in that class so far. Um, I'm gonna go. Obviously, Myron won, no questions there. I'm gonna go Nilo Felipe. Will be number two. He's a big outfielder with a big bat. Uh, he's a tall kid. I would say he's probably about 6'1", 6'2" right now. Big left-handed bat. And then the last kid I would say is Gabriel Vera.
The
Really good
shortstop.
shortstop, yeah, from Venezuela, four
Hmm.
pro. Um, I like him a lot, man. And 4Pro just develops like the best of the best talent in Venezuela. So him and Bobby Abreu's academy. So if you get a player from either one of those, you're usually getting a pretty solid prospect. And the Yankees to dip in and get a nice shortstop there. I mean, I'm excited about that.
Do you have anything on Angel Mendez? I know he's in that 27 class.
Yeah, yeah, I don't. Angel Mendez is a I have a little information on him, but like I don't have pictures. I can't find any pictures on him. I know his
Mhm.
Instagram, but it's like kind of hidden away. It doesn't have any pictures on it. But
Man,
but
it's always like a jigsaw puzzle looking for some of these guys.
it is, yeah. But he's an outfielder, man. Really great defensive player. He can really pick it in the outfield, but I don't have him as like the bat is not there yet. He's wiry, so it's a
Mhm.
wiry frame and needs obvious development. But he's a kid that if everything works out, he could be like a Gabriel Laura, but just a really elite defensive center fielder. That's good, man. I didn't know you knew that name.
Bro, so many of these guys that you give me names and I'm like, oh, he follows me. And I'm like, oh shit, let me look through his stuff. So I mean, that's usually how I find them. Usually like someone else will tag someone else, and then I'm like, well, who the heck is this? And just start digging through the profiles. Um, Somebody who I was looking for forever, I think I might have even asked you, was Alexander Amonte. I was like, I can't find his Instagram. And then one day he just hit me up. He's like, yo, how come you didn't tag me in this? And I'm like, bro, I've got like 2 months looking for your profile, and no one knew what the hell it was. All right. I think that's all I have. I don't know if you have anything else.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing I would say, man, is be excited about the future, man. I mean, with the international kids, it's going to be exciting for the next 5 or 6 years. We know a lot of in-depth stuff. I know we've only talked about 3 classes this year, but it's
Hmm.
exciting to be on the lookout for what's coming and really respect our scouts that we got out there, man. They work hard and some of the best in the business, and they really care about making the Yankees the best team out there. And I know that everybody wants the next shiny toy, but there are some exciting things that we have coming.
Yeah, that's one thing I wanted. I did remember I saw recently, and I tweeted back at I forgot who the heck it was, but they started talking about the Yankee scouts and the development, and it kind of just rubbed me the wrong way because I'm like, you're just talking right now. You're just talking because look at all these fines that the Yankees have had. Look at the last few like FCL teams, right? Which is the graduation of the DSL teams. Like you have the class before was arguably the best FCL team of all time. You had so many all-stars on that team. I think you had 6 or 7. And the following year you had several all-stars as well. So I mean, the scouting has done a tremendous job in finding the IFA scouts have done a tremendous job in finding the Yankees a lot of kids to develop.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think that, my bargain with that would be, I mean, the only department I have an issue with is just the development side. I like to see kids move faster. I think
Yeah.
everybody agrees there. And,
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't think you get any disagreement for anybody who watches Yankee prospects that they would just wish that these promotions would happen a lot sooner.
yeah, I don't disagree. And push kids. There's certain kids like I give Padres a lot of credit, man. They threw their top 2 kids out there at A ball. Now, although I'll be fair, Ethan Salas has struggled this year.
Yes.
I mean, DeFries, you got to look at him too, man. He hasn't.
Yeah. I
OPS
mean,
wise,
so
he hasn't.
you gotta challenge some of these prospects. You gotta challenge them. I mean, look at Jared Turner right now. He's crushing it in Double-A.
Yeah, and he could arguably be up at AAA in the next 2 weeks if you really wanted to. I mean, I think
Mm-hmm.
he was ready for that AA promotion a while ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All
So
right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Just real quick again, for Dane, he's gonna be all you're not gonna see him for a while. He's going through some personal stuff. If you keep him in your thoughts and in your prayers, I'm sure he would appreciate that. So thanks a lot, guys, for coming on. As always, we always appreciate you. Nick, as always, a pleasure.
thanks, man.